In the emerging world order at the moment, how are you looking at the India story and the prospects of India's rise on the global high table?
Well, it's quite a few years now, but I remember back, I think not long after 2008, making a prediction that it would be a bit like the fable of the tortoise and the hare. China then was the hare and India looked like the tortoise. And I said, looking at the demographics, it'll turn out to be the tortoise India that wins this race. Well, here we are in 2024. Everybody talks about China's slowdown, China deflation, and an Indian economic miracle. And there's no getting away from the fact that something has fundamentally changed. The India that I first got to know 20 years ago it's begun to vanish. That India is being replaced by a new, extraordinarily dynamic India. And that's exciting. And who could be against that? What that means for ordinary Indians, millions and millions of ordinary people, is a massive improvement in their living standards. It's exciting, it's great, you'd be nuts to be against it. And this, of course, means that India becomes a geopolitical player in a way that it wasn't. Back in the Cold War, India was part of the non-aligned movement, which was annoying to Americans, but in final analysis, not that important. Now India looks aligned. If anything, it's aligned with the United States. That's a really big issue in Cold War II. So I think this is a huge shift in the global balance of power, not only economically, but also geopolitically.
But from your lens, what aspects of India are you seeing vanish? What are the new aspects of India which are giving you this sense of optimism?
Well, I think what's vanished is the sense that you can never do anything about India's infrastructure, which I remember being told repeatedly 20 years ago. And that turns out not to be true. In fact, you can transform it. And I think that's the first and most striking feature. The other thing that's remarkable is that fintech, which is something that seemed a very remote thing 20 years ago, when you would pay for things with some pretty mangled banknotes, you know, we now have India having leapt forward in fintech with with a national system of payments that is really the envy of many countries in the Western world. So these are transformations that I don't remember anybody imagining 20 years ago. And they're creating, of course, opportunities for Indian businesses, not just in digital services. We kind of saw that coming maybe 10 years ago, but now also in manufacturing. Now, it's going to take a long time for Apple to shift its Chinese production to India. They've only done a very small amount of that. But, you know, that seems like a foreseeable future now in a way that it simply didn't 2 decades ago.